Greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Michael. It is Tuesday. We are live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube. We are live on Zoom. Today's an exciting day because we are talking about all the stuff that we've been working on at Strata for creative professionals, and we're going to be going to NAB to show them. So this is a preview of a lot of the technology we've been working on for a long time. The company is almost 2 years old, which is scary. But for the last 6 months, we've really been listening to our users who have been in this early beta giving us feedback. And, there's all these books and stories from entrepreneurs, and what they always talk about is you've got to give people something to try the product, even if you're embarrassed. And Reid Hoffman says, if you release something you're proud of, it's too late. So you have to get something out there. And we've had such a joy, such a blessing to have a lot of people try Strata when it barely worked. I mean, barely worked. And a couple of the people that were our earliest adopters, they were in the first 10 people, are going to be joining us today. Okay. I'm told I got to center myself in Instagram, which means I got to go to OBS. That's okay. This always does this. I like the product OBS. It's pretty cool, but it's not perfect. Okay. Now it's centered. Thank you, Pete. So we're excited to have some people join us today as we go over some of this cool tech and demonstrate it for you. But we have been working so hard. There are features in here that are really incredible, and you can sign up for Strata for free and start using these features. But I mean, I can literally demonstrate Strata for 90 minutes without stopping. I'm not going to do that today, but there's so many features in this product. It's becoming a Swiss Army knife, and it's really, really exciting to see this tech. But there is a technology that we are pioneering that we are going to show today, and I cannot wait to show you. And we are going to demonstrate it in the most complicated way we've ever demonstrated it. And I can't wait to show it to you. So let's get on this. Today on the call, joining me is my brother and co-founder, Peter. He'll be helping. Now, you can ask questions on YouTube, you can ask questions on Zoom, and you can ask questions on Instagram. And I have an iPad here, and I can get those questions. So please ask questions. These are for you. I know this stuff. I'm pretty good at it. You could use the information. So I want to get you the information. So ask your questions. We've also got Margot on the call, and we've got Austin, our head of engineering, on the call. So our team is here to help us answer those questions. But ultimately, this is a product now that's, while it's in beta, people are using it every single day. And the beta feedback is helping make it better and better. So there are whole businesses that are now putting Strata at the center of their workflows, and it's awesome. And we've been doing live demos in front of people in person every few days now. I have one right after this meeting. I got to go to a movie studio and demonstrate Strata. That movie studio with the mouse that works there, and we're going to be showing them. So like, people are starting to really get into this, and I want you to get into it too. Now, if you are coming to NAB, come visit us. We have a booth. It's in the South Hall, and it's close to the front. It's not too far. You come in, you see Blackmagic, you see Adobe, you see AJA, and then you see Strata. Somehow we got pretty close to the front. It's a miracle. I don't know how, but we're right on the front left, pretty close to the front of the South Hall. If you're not going to NAB, you're missing out. Look, NAB is great for technology. It's great for creatives, but it's really, really great for fellowship and getting to know each other and seeing each other and talking to other creatives of all types and other manufacturers. Like, you got to go to NAB. We actually could give you a code to sign up for free. If you want that, Pete can put the code in the chat, and that's a code that you could get a free pass. All you got to do is rent a room. We're going to stay at the MGM. The MGM is a good hotel for the price. You could sleep in your car. You could do something else, but MGM is a good hotel for the price, and they got 1 million restaurants to keep it affordable. And you can use the monorail instead of taxi cabs, and you can actually get the monorail pass as part of your NAB pass, and they'll save you another $100, maybe $200. So it's really, really worth it. It's not too late. NAB is in 2 weeks, so come, and we'd love to see you there. But we have a booth. Come visit us. And also, you could schedule time to come to the booth as well. I don't know if Pete has that link. He might. That's a Calendly link. If you really want to schedule a specific time for you or your creative teams or your business to come visit us, you could do that. and we will be there ready to receive you. I'm also speaking on a few panels, and I'm really excited. One of the panels that I'm moderating is a panel with the president of the Academy, Janet Yang. And so there's a conversation with Janet Yang, and we just had the Oscars 2 weeks ago, and I get to sit with Janet and do a fireside chat. So I'm really excited about that. The Academy is really getting excited and interested, and they're getting more invested in the technology space for the whole year. It's not just about the Oscars for them. It's about the whole year. So there's a lot going on there, and I can't wait. Okay, let's get into Strata. So why are we building this business? Why? I had a great job. Everyone that works here at Strata, we all had great jobs, but we quit our great jobs so that we could build something different. And when I left Adobe, I worked at Adobe. When I left Adobe, a really, really high-ranking chief there, a C-level person, said to me, I know what you're going to try to do, and I think you're better off doing it as a startup. And it was really encouraging to me, because he encouraged me. He's like, he understands that sometimes in a great job, in a great business, you can't move. It's hard. And he was encouraging me to go where I had the flexibility. Now, it's scary to be a part of a startup, and this is my third, but I have the flexibility. And so why did we quit our jobs? We want to improve accessibility for all media professionals. We want you to access your media anytime, anywhere, on any device, immediately. And that last word, immediately, that's really interesting, because we are really, how do you do something immediate? Well, there's a problem with the technology that we have today, because it's not immediate. It takes time, right? For those of you that know me, when I was building Camera to Cloud at Frame.io, that was all about immediacy. I wanted people to have access to the files, to see clips immediately. And we invented that, and we built it. And my partner, Austin, and our team, we made it immediate. You could do that, but you still got to download the files, and then you got to put them in a cloud, and you got to share them. You see, the cloud is failing creatives. It's really failing us. And the reason it's failing us is because when we're dealing with clouds, we have to deal with video. Video is the most complicated digital file there is. There's no more complicated file than a video file. They're really complicated, and they're really huge. And here's the problem with creative people. We love cameras that shoot good quality. So our files are really big. That makes the cloud really hard to work with, because your files are so big, you can't put them all in the cloud. But then we also love to roll, and we roll, and we don't cut, and we don't cut. So our clips are longer. So not only are the files bigger, we shoot more. So our shooting ratios go up, right? And that makes it hard to work with the cloud, because the files are too big to work and too big to put in the cloud. Then many of us have internet speeds that are too slow. The average speed of internet in the United States is 30 megabits per second. And if you go globally, it kind of goes up and down, but it is not that good. That's the average. Now, some people have 1 gig, 2 gig. I talked to a guy yesterday who has 3 gig internet. That's amazing. Clyde Bessie at Origin Points got 3 gig internet at home in Orange County, California, just south of where I am. Lucky guy. But most of us only have 30 megabits. So the internet speed is too slow to upload. But let's say you have a really good internet connection. If you do, the cloud costs are too expensive. In fact, 1 gigabyte in the cloud is 40 times more expensive than 1 gigabyte on a hard drive. 40x. So even if you have the internet bandwidth to get files up to the cloud, you do not have the wallet to be able to store them there permanently. And then we've got this software issue. The tools that you primarily use, like Premiere, Resolve, Final Cut, Pro Tools, Nuendo, Logic, Maya, Nuke, they're all native applications. So that if the media is in the cloud, it's hard to use those because your applications are not in the cloud, right? Your primary creative applications. So we have a lot of problems here. And the funny thing is the cloud is so powerful. The companies that build clouds are so powerful, and they're moving so fast. And the pandemic pushed us into it so quickly. We were believing, and I used to believe, that the cloud was going to solve all our problems. But what I realized is that the cloud just moved my problems. And it didn't solve them all. It solved a few, but it added new problems, and then it moved these problems that I didn't even have before, right? And put them in a new place. And so that's a big problem we want to solve. And we think, just think about this. How many petabytes of footage are you going to shoot in your lifetime? If you shoot every week, every month, some people every day, and you shoot year after year, and you do this for 10, 20, or 30 years, you're going to be recording petabytes and petabytes of footage. Where is it going to go? Not the cloud. The cloud has no reason to even lower the prices of this stuff, right? Like the cloud companies have their own pricing model. The internet service providers have their own system and pricing model, and they have their own problems. And then the software tools, they have their own pricing models, and they have their own problems. None of these actually tie together. And so that is creating an atmosphere in which video creative professionals do not have the tools we need to truly collaborate. And that's what we want to change. We believe this cloud is failing. And so when I break down, we need to identify a solution. And so here's how we break down the problem so we can find a solution. I love local file access. You love local file access. You have local file access. Those are the hard drives on your desks. They can be big, medium, and small. Why do we love them? Because they're fast and they're inexpensive. You can buy them everywhere. They're really quick. And the Thunderbolt 4 is so fast. Thunderbolt 5 is right down the street. Like, this is really fast stuff. But you can't really collaborate, because if you want to share that media, you got to make another copy and you got to give it to someone else, right? So drives are not collaborative. That's a real problem. So that's why we love the cloud, because it's collaborative. But the cloud is really slow because it's really hard to get things into the cloud, and it's really expensive. So even if you have the bandwidth, you can't store it there very long, and you have to delete it. And then a lot of products require you to pay for users, and you have to like bring users on and off and pay for them. And it just makes it really hard for creative teams, because our creative teams change shape and size all the time. And so we don't really like this idea of having to know how many users we need in July when it's January. We just don't know. So we think these are all problems, and this is what we're aiming to solve. Strata is building a technology that allows you to combine the benefits of local file access, fast and inexpensive, with the benefits of cloud so that it's collaborative. And we had to invent something totally new in order to do that. And what we're going to show you is totally new. It has not been, this is a totally new product and a totally new technology. And we think this has the potential to change everything. I have been a part, I remember it must have been 2009. It must have been 2008 or 9. I remember being invited by Jim Gennard. Jim Gennard is the founder of Red. And I remember it was right about, now it's NAB time. So in 2009, Jim Gennard brought me down to Lake Forest, and he showed me the new camera, which at that time was called Epic. And he showed me before it was out. He's like, we're going to announce this new camera called Epic. And I got to see it and play with it, and it was really, really exciting. So then we go to NAB, where we're going to make the big announcements at NAB. And so, yeah, this is like 15, 16 years ago. And I remember it's the morning of NAB, and we get in the theater, and I don't work for Red. I'm just a very happy guest, but I really love the technology. I was a champion for the post workflow, and we're sitting in their theater. If you've ever been to a Red NAB booth, they set the standard, they set the bar. That was as good as it ever got. No one's built a better experience at NAB than Red, period. And if you waited in line, you know what I'm talking about. And I was sitting in that theater. This is at like 8:30 in the morning, before the doors open for NAB. Everyone knows something new is coming. Red's going to announce a camera. What's it going to be? And we're sitting in the theater, and Jim is smoking a cigar, and he's in the dark. And I remember him just saying, it is so rare in anyone's lifetime to be able to say, this is a first. And I remember Jim saying that. He's like, savor this moment, because what's about to happen when we show people a 5K CMOS sensor camera that's 5 pounds, which in 2009 was an insane specification to be able to achieve. That was the Epic camera main specifications. He said, very few people get to be around something that's a first, an absolute first. And he says at Red, This is the second time we've been able to have a first. And Red went on to have many firsts after that, which just shows you how forward thinking they are. Whatever you think of Red, realize that those people were constantly delivering firsts. That's so rare and so powerful. And I just want to say thanks to my team. And I want to say thanks to all of you that have been a part of us. I'm going to show you a first. And I am humbled by the ability to even say that. And yesterday, my brother and I went to a meeting, and we showed this to people, and they didn't even get it. There was someone in the room; it just went over his head, and he says, "What's the point of this?" And and on one hand, and one side, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, we've completely failed." On the other side, this is so profound that some people won't even get it. And that I want to know if you get it. And is it profound or is it not? Am I crazy? Is this not that big a deal? And we're going to go out of business. I don't know. But I think this is profound. Everything in my experience tells me what I'm about to show you is really, really profound. This new technology is called Strata agents. And Strata agents is all about accessibility, because what we're going to do is collaborate for the first time without the cloud. No uploading, no egress, no transfers, no downloading, no waiting, but instant collaboration through file virtualization and direct communication with a hard drive. Direct communication with a hard drive. And it's totally different. And so what we're going to do to demonstrate this is I'm going to invite a couple of my friends, George and Nick from Seed Creative. And before they come on here, there's something really important about this demonstration. George and Nick and their team at Seed are amazing, and they are great filmmakers. They are really progressive creative professionals. They know how to shoot, edit. They know how to tell stories. They know how to write. They even are on camera. They have all this talent between production and post-production. And I know a lot of people have companies just like them, and you should strive to be like Seed Creative, because they can do it all. And they really epitomize the importance and value of people that work at Hollywood level, but don't have to be in Hollywood. You don't have to be in Hollywood to be a part of the Hollywood influence. And Seed Creative is exactly why I respect them so much. But there's another reason this is so important for this test. Seed Creative is 2,176 miles away from Los Angeles, because they're in Alabama. And they're so far away, I am going to attempt to collaborate with their material with you doing this live, and there's going to be no cloud uploading of the files. And so the importance here is there's 2,000 miles of distance between us, and we need to evaluate what kind of latency that has and what kind of delay that has. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I'm going to invite George and Nick to join us. George and Nick, if you could come on, awesome. Welcome to Strata Live. It's so wonderful to be here. Tell us a little bit about how you founded Seed Creative and the types of stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for inviting us on. We have, I just want to say, been a fan of you, Michael, and all the work that you did previously, and Strata has been incredible. So I'm George Edmondson.
I'm Nick Golden.
And I own Seed Creative, and Nick is the right-hand man around here. And we also have Jordan over here is manning our camera switching. We've got Dawson in the back. So we are a team of creatives here in Alabama. I started the company about 11 years ago, and I founded it. Really, like, what got me into video was just making skateboarding videos. And I taught myself how to edit using two VCRs stacked on top of each other when I was like 13 years old. And then somehow I turned it into a career, and we've been going strong for a while. As far as the type of content that we do, you name it, we do it. We primarily are probably in the corporate space. We make a lot of training videos, economic development, workforce development type of videos for the state of Alabama, and then of course for local people. We do have international clients as well. I'm a YouTuber for a company in Poland. So we have two Polish clients. We have a client in the UK. We've done a lot of stuff. So you're exactly right. We're able to work here in Alabama, and we can work with people all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big fan of how Strata has helped us, especially close some gaps where we were having major problems beforehand that Strata has already solved. And it are immediately in its infancy, it was solving problems, and it's just improved as it's gone along. So it's been great to be on the journey.
Well, we appreciate you having a high tolerance for pain. That's kind of what it takes to be part of an early startup. But speaking of pain tolerance, we're going to try something really new. And so I want everyone to understand what's happening. Again, I'm in Los Angeles. They're in Alabama. What part of Alabama are you in specifically?
So we're in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So roll tide.
Roll Tide.
University of Alabama is about 4 blocks that way. So yeah, if you know where Tuscaloosa is, sort of in the central-ish area of Alabama.
Like 3 hours from Atlanta. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we're in the center of Alabama, 2,000 miles away from Los Angeles, but we want to collaborate here. And so this is our first transcontinental transmission of Strata agents. This is the first time we're really trying this transcontinental transmission of this experience. So if you would switch to your other computer, let's take a look because they can switch here. They got Jordan in the background. Thanks, Jordan, for your help. And tell us what we're seeing and where this physically is.
So physically, it's like 6 feet away from us. But it's just here sitting in our studio. This is a MacBook Pro. What is this? The M3, I think, M3 Pro. Yeah, just simple, just connected, via Wi-Fi to Google Chrome, and we have an SSD sitting there on the little cube there.
Okay. So what I want you to do, Nick, if you could just go over and click on the Strata agent. I want people to see this. What Nick's going to do is go over up on the right, the actual dock at the top dock. Yeah. Center top dock.
Oh, yeah, here.
The agent thing.
The agent at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So what Nick just did there, that's what's running on this machine. So they've got a MacBook Pro sitting there. There's a hard drive connected to it. And that little agent is this little Strata application that's running at the top. And what you're seeing there are all the drives that you can connect. And at the bottom of that, it's a little hard to see, but you might see it says Seed 5, I think. Seed 5. That little button right there, Seed 5, is the name of the drive that's sitting on a Rubik's Cube. And so, Nick, if you twist that drive a little bit so we can see the light, there's a little light on that drive. Perfect. That looks great. So that drive they've called Seed 5. Now you could install as many drives as you want. You could have a huge RAID, a NAS, a Jellyfish, a Synology, Lucid Link. You can have all sorts of things connected here. But that drive is connected to that MacBook Pro right there. And then they're logged in to Chrome. And this is just online. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to switch to sharing my screen. Hopefully, you'll be able to see this. I know this is going to start getting really small, but I can see here in my Strata, George's MacBook Pro and Seed 5. I don't know if that's coming through. I just want
it is.
It's coming through. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's coming through, I can see George's computer, and he has given me permission to see Seed 5, that drive. And now on Seed 5, there are 2 drives. There are 2 clips. And if I click play right here, I want you guys to, if you can, to watch the little blinking light on that drive right there. If I hit play, we could start hearing the video. I could click on the other video. Here's George sitting in the same chair.
And tell your story effectively. We believe we've mastered that. So let's talk.
So I'm going to mute the audio real quick, but can we see the drive? Just so everyone can see, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to still keep it playing. The drive is blinking on the Seed 5 drive in Tuscaloosa. I can't even say Tuscaloosa. Is that right? Tuscaloosa?
Yeah.
Tuscaloosa,
right.
Alabama. The drive is playing back in Tuscaloosa, and on my computer, I'm playing this and watching it locally here in Los Angeles. I know this might be stuttering a bit for you in on Zoom and on YouTube and Instagram. But I'm playing this file back locally to me. I have a little timeline control, right? So if I were to skip to the end, I could skip to the end. If I skip to the beginning, this file isn't cached. There's no buffering. Why? Because clouds have to buffer. But this isn't in the cloud, right? If I click to the very end, it's just there at the end. If I go to the middle, it's there in the middle. If I switch to the other clip, we mute it again. We could switch in the middle. Oh, look at this handsome guy. I see like an R2 unit back here, right? He's talking about his sunglasses and showing stuff there. So this is a product demo. I could skip to the end. See, this is a 10-minute file. You can see the time code here. This goes over 10 minutes long, and we're able to click around this file, and it's not here. It's not here in Los Angeles. It's still on their drive in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. See, think about what this actually means here in terms of what it unlocks in the power of collaboration. If you don't have to upload things to the cloud and know what has to be there and wait for that process to happen, this is the beginning of something really new. And if I just let this play, it's going to keep playing and the drive's going to keep blinking. And there's really, it's incredible. I mean, I'm excited. You can tell I'm excited. I'm excited because it's working, but I'm also excited because it's working, right? Like this is really different. So I want to, I'm going to stop sharing so we can see George and Nick here. Let's switch back to your guys' camera. I'm going to keep letting it play because why not? But nobody can see that at the moment. But like, I just want to say thank you for being willing to test Strata agents. Now tell me, what is it that you're seeing actually happen? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so I mean, the good news is it doesn't put any strain on like the computer or anything, but I see it blinking. It made me excited the first time we tried it of, I know that you're accessing the file. We can see thumbnails on this end, and we're logged into the same account currently, I believe. But yeah, I mean, we see it working too, so it's really awesome.
What do you think this unlocks though in workflow? Like what do you see in the workflow space of your brain?
Well, so our biggest problem is two different things. One, we have a big server that we keep most of our stuff on because, like you said, it's way too much work and bandwidth and all of this.
We have multiple servers.
Multiple servers, yeah. And there's a lot of times that we're either out somewhere and we want to show a file that we haven't uploaded, and we're like, we can't show you right now. We'll upload it when we get back. Or we have people that are working remote that want to access the files but don't want to go through the server and have to download stuff and all that. And both of those pain points are stuff that we deal with on a daily basis. So as soon as we first saw that agents were going to be a thing, I think I messaged you or something. I was like, we want to be the first. We want to try it.
Yeah.
We want it so bad. So, and being able to tag and all that stuff too, eventually would be awesome.
And then we get an email at like midnight, two or three nights ago. He's like, hey, you want to try something crazy? So, and here we are. It's crazy. So, but yeah, exactly what Nick said. Honestly, I know that it's kind of redundant, but when we're out in a meeting and we're in like a discovery meeting or something, and we start talking to a potential new client and they start asking us about like very specific content that we've done, and we're like, crap, like we don't have access to that where we are, and we haven't put it on YouTube. And again, it is that kind of like, well, when we get back, we'll send it. And you're talking about immediate. It's not immediate. It's going to be 3-4 hours. And as anyone knows in sales, you strike while the iron is hot. So for us to be able to say, give us 1 second, let us log in, and we can show you immediately what content we have that would serve the same purpose as the content that we're talking about with you. And they can watch it and they can see it and they can hear it. And it's not stuttering, because we know it's not stuttering on your end, maybe on Zoom. That helps us with sales and that helps us grow our business. And so that's where my mindset is. I understand that there's also the whole collaborative opportunity as well, because correct me if I'm wrong, what we're seeing is like, it's not even beta. It's just like, hey, this is the building block. This is the foundation of what this is going to eventually be able to unlock.
Yeah. Yeah. Today, what everyone just saw, and I'll just share my screen again. Why not? What everyone's seeing right here is, again, we're playing back a file Nick's drive, Nick's computer. I can see his computer. I can see the drive. He has the ability to give me access to more or fewer drives or folders. You can control what people have access to. They put 2 files on that, and they appear to be like a 4K H.265, something like that. And then he's going through and telling us this story.
Anyone can make a beautiful.
So we are able to see this story play back. So we're able to review. Today, the beta of this, we are trying to release April 4th. So we're trying to release this April 4th so that you can start with the collaboration aspect, which is just play only. But then subsequently, we'll be adding the ability to comment on it and download it so that you can share a file this way. Now think about that. Today, if you have a file on a drive and you want to share it to someone, you have to upload it to a cloud first. You have to wait for that to complete, and then they have to download it, which means you have to pay for a service to make that possible. And you have to wait to upload before you can download. And you have to initiate it on the sender's end. That's a really important thing. Think about this, Nick and George. When you're ever transferring a file, it's all about the sender. If the receiver needs it, you know that phrase, a watched pot never boils, right? Like the receiver is always waiting for the file, and they hit refresh on their email through some web transfer system. But see, with Strata agents, the receiver can initiate their own transfer because they can just go to the drive and just pull the files they want. And you don't need to know. You don't need to be bothered. You don't need an email exchange. You don't need a workflow. And when you're talking about, I'll stop sharing here. When you're talking, what I love what you said, George, is you were applying this technology to making your business more efficient because it's about sales opportunities and striking while the iron's hot, right? People know what that means. They know it's important. And so imagine all the times in your life that you've had to initiate a transfer for whatever reason, dailies, rough cuts, finals, fixes, whatever it is, you have to do that. But if the receiver end, whether that's an employee of yours or a customer or a colleague or a collaborator, they can just pull what they need. And you don't even need to know that it's even happening and not have to pay for a transmission service. It'll just pull through the drive. Tell me how you feel that changes that process.
Yeah. So, I mean, it obviously it changes the process just from the simple fact that the time is shrinking. And when you multiply that across days, weeks, months, years, ultimately it's making us more money and it's giving the experience of our clients. It's just making the experience better, and they're going to just want to continue working with us because, again, you're not waiting around.
Well, we also really care about quality too.
Sure.
That's another thing. So like, I can't tell you how many times I've uploaded a file to YouTube and I'm like, well, I want to send it to him, but I got to wait for it to process in 4K.
Yeah.
And that's really annoying. Like even, we got back to the office, we got the file uploaded. We're just waiting because I'm not going to send it to him in a 480p version. They're going to think these guys don't know what they're doing.
Right.
We want it to look great. So this playing natively on the, the format that it's in is also super helpful. So
yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, all of that is a really good reason. Alex from Zoom says, what about the video clips in the thumbnail? They were great. I suppose those thumbnails are going to show a frame of the clip. And if we move the mouse, there's going to be some sort of skimming. So Alex, in this beta, what you saw today, we do not yet have the thumbnails, but they're coming really, really soon. They're coming really, really soon. So yeah, Alex had a good eye. He saw that the thumbnails weren't there, but they're getting pretty close. So that's good. Another thing that I'll show you, Alex, if I share my screen here, is this is, and Nick and George, you haven't seen this yet. This is where we're headed with the invitation. So you have this little invite button, and you can invite users just directly to that drive. So I would go in here, I would type in people's addresses for what they are supposed to be able to have access to. So you click on the drive, you hit invite. And when I click invite, I get those people now that are invited into that. And so when you get to their drive, you have they get an invitation in their email, right? So it'll say, oh, Kira invited you to socials. So they get a notification that they're invited to this drive. And you've really just built your own cloud because you've put files on your computer, you've shared it with people. Now they have access. And when they log in, look at this. Now they can see which folders they have access to. And as you start clicking, you can go in and then you would see which files are shared with you. So at the top, you have the connections that are yours. So in your case, Nick, it would show your computer and your access. But for me, I would see what was shared to me, and different people can run agents. So Nick, you can have your home computer be an agent. George, your home computer, then your multiple servers can be agents. So you can bulkhead and control who has access to what, but they can all be online and they can all be shared. And Strata will keep track of what is shared to whom. And when you click on those, you just get access to those files and you can go into them and see which files are there. So this is a totally new way of like orienting all of your workflow around it. And then we will be adding commenting and transcriptions and the analytics that we have in the Strata cloud applications. You can start commenting on these things. You can start watching dailies, marking favorites, facial recognition, analytics. All that will come online once this is able to be shared this way. Nick on Zoom says, what about files on Seed Creative's NAS? Is this supported now? Nick, 100%. You can connect a NAS to Strata. They connected a little SSD drive. If they obviously their NAS is connected to some computer, they could run the agent on that computer and share that. So I could have access to their NAS if they wanted to grant me that access. And then Alex says, what kind of files are we going to be able to see? Just video or audio or other files? So, that's a great question, Alex. It starts with video and audio, and we will support almost every file that is not raw. So if it's a raw file that requires a debayer, we're not going to debayer just yet. That will come someday. And if you want raw files, you got to sign up, you got to be a user, and you got to give us that feedback because we're going to listen to people who pay us and do what they want us. We're going to build what they want, right? So if you want raw, you got to be a buyer. But we will do H.264, H.265, AVC, HEVC, VP9, AV1, MXF, ProRes. Actually, I could switch real quick. Check this out. On my computer, I can go to a different account here. Check this out. Here, I have a file of ProRes files. So you can see, Alex, if you're checking in here, here's ProRes. These are going to be log ProRes files. So they're unprocessed, but these are ProRes files. And I am clicking on ProRes and playing back ProRes here. This ProRes file is a couple hundred megabits per second. My internet is only 30. It's only 30. So I'm able to play back ProRes files that are bigger than my internet bandwidth. And the fact that these are log is because these are uncolor corrected. This is like camera original media that I can play back ProRes. Think about Nick and George. You always have to make a proxy if you're going to share something in the cloud today. Doesn't this unlock your ability to share things without having to make a proxy?
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we've saved time because we're not having to sit here and wait on proxies to process and then upload. So, yeah, it's incredible. I'm also gonna maybe go a little bit off with or go back to the comments. When we're able to make comments, that is eliminating a huge part of our workflow currently with our biggest client, where we are having to create our content, take the folder, upload it, wait on it to process, then they go back and watch it, they comment on it, and then we pull it back down. The fact that we can basically tell them, hey, videos are done, and invite them to our folder, we've just eliminated having to upload dozens and dozens of photos. Just literally the only purpose that we do that is to get their feedback and get their comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not kidding when it's not like we're not talking 2 videos here.
No,
we're talking thousands a year, thousands of videos a year, not raw edited.
Right.
So that's hundreds of thousands of raw.
Amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we're after. Nick says, can you run this into the NAS directly? For example, Ubuntu is supported. The answer is we don't support Linux yet, Nick. We don't support Linux. We're starting with Mac, and then we're adding Linux and Windows. Those are priorities. But it starts with Mac today. Our primary users have Mac computers available, but we will be adding Linux and Windows. So Nick, get involved, get an account, start using it, be a buyer, and then push us to do a Linux version because the buyers get what they want. Yeah. And then Aaron asks, what's the maximum number of drives you can connect before running into issues? Okay, Aaron, this is really important. It's not really about the maximum number of drives. I have on my account here, if you look here on my account, I've got a camera card. I've got the computer. I've got an FX SD card. I got a G-RAID mirror, and this is my Lucid Link account. So I've got Lucid, and I can actually click on Lucid files. And I'm actually playing back. These clips are Lucid Link clips. I'm watching files from Lucid Link. So it's not how many drives I can connect. I think you could connect a dozen, maybe more. We've certainly done like almost 10. It's how many simultaneous streams can your agent host do at once, right? So we don't yet know how many people can hit play at the same time. We haven't gotten that far. That's how new this technology is. So we're going to have George and Nick are going to have to help us figure out, well, how many people can play back? And that's what we're working on learning next is how many can, you had an M3, I think you said, how many can an M3 handle?
Right.
We'll figure that out. We're going to have to learn how many people can hit play and figure that out. So that's really what's coming. Myron from YouTube says, are the ProRes files that Michael is playing back HD, UHD, or 6K? Those were actually HD ProRes. So I think these were HD. Some of these are 4K. So it's not going to be a bandwidth thing, Myron. Bandwidth is not going to be the problem because the files can get crushed down really fast. It's going to be how efficient is the processor of the computer the agent is running on. So if you run this on a really old computer, your agent experience is going to be inferior. You want to run this on a machine that's modern, and we're actually only building agents for Apple Silicon. We'll add Linux and Windows, but on the Apple platforms, it'll be Silicon only. Intel is not powerful enough to do all these streams that we want. Also, the Silicon machines have hardware encoder chips on them for H.265. And so that alleviates some of the processing power so that we can have more streams, right? So that's one of the exciting things. Okay, great questions, people. So Nick and George, what we have here, again, 2,100 miles away. So I wanted to show a couple other features before we finish that are new in Strata that are available today in the existing product. So just so people understand, what we just showed, Strata Agents, is coming out April 4th. Check out the website. We'll do a big announcement. You'll be able to download it. You'll have thumbnails, Alex, those will be there. And you can start initially with play, and then we will add commenting and downloading to the agents. But today you can get in Strata Cloud, and Strata Cloud, you connect to Frame.io, Dropbox, and Google. So we have a cloud option as well. And that has 4 new major features: transcription, summary, facial recognition, and commenting. So if I go into my Strata Cloud here, what's really cool. Now, Nick, you mentioned you use transcription summary. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so something I'll tell you what we used to do. So what I would do is I would take the transcription and I would download it and put it into ChatGPT and I'd say like, give me a summary of this or something. And that was fine, but that adds extra steps, and we're all about time saving here. So so I go straight into Strata and I use it, and I mean it's helped me quickly find pieces of it. It's helped me explain to a client, hey, here's what happened in this hour-long interview. Here's a little blurb that tells you everything that happened. So, I mean, it's one of my favorite new features for sure.
Well, let me show a demonstration of it. So here is the movie National Treasure. And because we can transcribe it, if I search for the word bell, I can see that there are 13 mentions of the word bell. And I'll go to this one where she says in front of the Liberty Bell.
Finally, Shadow crosses in front of the Liberty Bell.
All right, so we found that. But here's what's really cool about the summary Nick's talking about. Transcription summary allows you to take a transcription, even a feature-length film, and you can generate a storyline summary, a meeting or an interview, which is ideal when you're doing all those interviews. You know, you guys at Seed interview 1,000 people a year. Now you can get summaries of those interviews if you wanted them, so you don't have to actually read the entire transcript. Or when you're searching in the future for something that you shot in the past, the summaries are a fast way to find the gist of a subject, right? For those of you that do YouTube posts, nobody likes writing the descriptions. It's horrible. It's boring. It's frustrating to see that empty panel. And we can generate the the description data for you. And Strata automatically generates the time code so that you get the chapter markers automatically done for you as well. And then you can run a custom. So if you wanted to do something custom, like say the main character in this film is Benjamin Gates. Benjamin Gates. Please summarize all his personality traits and separate them in bullets. So I've just given it a custom summary, and it's going to watch the movie. It's going to understand the whole movie. And I want the character, Nicolas Cage's character, Benjamin Gates, I want his personality traits to be in bullet form. Now, this might seem a little weird. You're like, Michael, why would anyone do that? If you're a creative and you deliver a lot, you will find your version of something like this. And now look at this. Here it says, he's determined and persistent. He's intelligent and knowledgeable. He's principled. He's a risk taker, right? Strada went through and found all these elements. He's passionate, quick thinking, protective, honor bound. The writer of National Treasure would love this summary, right? So this is a powerful way where you can generate your own custom summaries. You can copy them with one click here. If I click this and copy this, now it's copied to my clipboard, so I could paste it in something. So if I did this, now I've got it pasted here. So now I've got my little list here and I can share that with my producer. But whatever it is you are trying to do, transcription summary is such a powerful tool tied to transcription. Really, really cool technology. So Nick and George, definitely use it for the YouTube description. Give us some feedback on the time code accuracy and the chapter markers, because it'll really help you with those descriptions.
Yeah, and I've used custom a lot. I've used custom a lot to say, like, give me a summary of what this person said about halfway through, something like that. I did that the other day that someone was asking for, and it saved me so much time because I didn't have to go through and literally read it and write it myself, you know? So
nice. Okay. So then the next, I didn't mean to play that. All right. The next thing, we've got facial rec. Well, facial rec, we just launched, and this is really cool for a lot of people. I'm going to go to a movie that was shot by Indiana Underhill a couple of weekends ago. And so this movie is called Murphy's Ranch, directed by J. Michael Riva. And here what we see is all of this footage here. They shot all these takes. It looks like there is about 187 takes. And so we've got those takes here. And now look at, if I click this button right here, it will show me the facial recognition. And what Strata does is it will find all the faces and it will pull them for you. So you don't have to submit faces. It shows the faces to you and you just name them once. So once they're named, now I could search by the character Asher and it'll find me all the shots of Asher. But if I wanted Asher with Simmons, it'll find them together. And now I've got those characters together. Or if I said I wanted Asher by the pool, it'll find me Asher by the pool. Or if I wanted Tom by the pool, it'll find those shots. Or if I just wanted to find Tom, you see how quick it is. As I switch between those, it just kept adjusting when I added different things. So the facial recognition is really, really powerful. And finds all the people. And if I look right here under the faces, it knows Tom is here and it's found him in this clip. It knows that's a clip of him right there. So very, very powerful. I can also combine that with locations and objects. So in this film, if I search for the character Flo, but I wanted her on the stairs, now I found a shot of Flo on the stairs because Strata understands who this is and where she is. If I said I wanted Flo with in the kitchen, it would find her in the kitchen, right? And understand these are all kitchen shots, right? If I wanted her where Flo is holding the ring, there's a shot where she's holding the ring. Where am I going to find that? Well, now I can see right there, there is Flo and there is the ring. So we're able to find that together here. So this is a very powerful way to find facial recognition and searching. My account is so big, I have thousands of faces analyzed. Like, it's pretty cool how big this can get. And Strata will pull all these faces and you can label the ones you want. I warn you, if you're doing a lot of facial rec, keep up with it. You can delete faces you don't want. If I hover, there's a little trash can there and I can delete a face that I don't need. And you have to hit refresh today. We don't have sockets in yet and Apache Cache. So you have to refresh to get the faces to disappear. But if you click the little trash can, you can get rid of those faces and clean it up. And that's an important thing to do if you're doing a lot of facial rec. David on Zoom says, will you get the files metadata in the UI with Strata, not custom metadata? Yeah, in fact, if I show you the old, the cloud Strata here, you can see, David, here's the metadata of the assets right there. And we will be bringing this to Strata agents as well. It's already in Strata. I can see this here. And so that's available to you. And that'll be part of the beta of the Strata agents. Great question. Aaron on Zoom says, if audio is bad, can the transcript be manually corrected? Great question. The answer is yes. Yeah. Tell us, Nick and George, how that changed your life.
That.
Dude, you have no idea, because look, we're in Alabama and I don't have super strong of an accent, but some people around here, Michael, I don't know that you would be able to understand them. And I can guarantee you that it doesn't matter how powerful AI is running in the background, it's not going to fully understand what they're saying. So we worked with y'all a lot on saying we need the option to be able to edit this transcription in Strata, because what we were doing was downloading a transcription, opening up in text edit, change it in text edit, resave it, send it out. We were having to, there were some times where time code was accurate, but our client didn't want a voice to start, 2 seconds before the actual person spoke. Like little things like that. We were like, hey, can we modify time code in there? And y'all made it happen. So that was incredible. But again, we're using that every day and it's making a big difference. What we were doing was we were sending transcriptions over. Our client would notice, hey, this person says this word, but the transcription thought it said this word, and we would have to go back and forth, changing it. We don't have to do that anymore. We're able to just watch it through, make the edit real quick, download the transcription, upload the file that they need, and we're good to go. So,
and to be clear, Strata's super accurate. It's just so happens.
Sometimes, yeah,
it just so happens that
there might be one word out of 100 videos, but our client is going to catch that word. It's very important to them that it be correct.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's very accurate, but and then sometimes it might say one word and it's just the improper spelling of that word, and
right.
You know what I mean? Like
there.
Yeah, the context was a little different based on where the person was standing or whatever. So little things like that. Yeah, it's been great.
Well, Aaron, when he's asking about that, that's important. So here's a character's name, Abigail Chase, and let's just say her name Chase is spelled with like a funny E. Okay.
Right.
What we could do is you could click this little key here and say find and replace. And if I say find Chase and make it Chase with that Shazay, maybe that's her name is Shazay. I can do replace all Aaron. And so when I replace all, now when I go to that clip and I search Chase, it will find her there. And so now we see all the times it says Chase, they're all changed. And I'm just hitting the down arrow and they're all changed. So we can do a group adjustment. But I'll tell you what Nick and George are saying, which is what we're getting from a lot of customers. These are the customers saying we have the most accurate transcriptions on the market. And I can tell you, if you have to run transcripts, Strata is the most efficient, it's the most cost effective, and it's the most accurate. And I'll stand by that. We're also the most efficient because we can do things in bulk, because you can run 100 transcriptions all at once. And someone asked about translation. We can transcribe 100 languages. And so that's available in the beta right now. So Kevin, you're asking about, can you utilize captions and translations? 100%. That's available right now. You can sign up for free. You can start running 1,000 clips in transcription, and you can edit them and change them in bulk as well. I'm going to change this back to Chase because I'm going to screw that up a little later, but that's okay. And then Nick Anderson on Zoom says, is there an API for utilizing these transcripts in external systems? Nick, we are building the product on APIs, so that could be possible in the future. But today, Nick, you have to select all the assets. And when you select them all, you can export the SRTs or VTTs in bulk, and then you would get them that way. So that's the best way to do that. We do not have public APIs for this at the moment. So, okay, so we did facial rec. I'm almost out of time, but I want to show commenting. We've built our whole commenting solution now, which is really powerful because now you have a commenting button, and Strata is time code accurate comments, but there's something really different about Strata commenting. It has the traditional stuff where if I click on a comment, it will take me to that time code. That's all normal. Everyone expects that now. I've got versions of my other deliveries and things like that, and I can see my comments there. But what's unique about Strata is we learned that people, when they want to write a message to someone, they don't want to write a comment because a comment's to a bunch of people that can see the asset. So we put DMs in it. So if I just type the letter M, I could see it'll pop up who is in my project. Do I want to send this to? This is to Margot. And if I type S, I want to type this to Shannon, right? And now Margot and Shannon, when I say private comment and I send that, now a private comment went to Margot and Shannon. I don't exactly know where I left that comment, but there it is. So this is a private message, and you can see it's just to them, and there's a little lock by it. So this is how you can now have DMs, and we will be showing you soon an entire DM panel. So for some businesses that don't want to have to upgrade to a Slack, you won't need Slack. Now, some people, I'm not saying Strata is going to replace Slack. For some people, it will make Slack unnecessary because you can DM in Strata, and there's a whole DM panel that's its own, but you can also DM in the commenting. And today you can DM in the commenting, and it's only visible if you're a receiver on this DM list. And that's a really cool thing. The rest of it are global comments. You can see by the globe. And if I type a comment, it'll automatically go to everyone unless I type in those people. So that's a really powerful thing that we have in Strata agents, Strata coming. And last thing, global search. Check this out. Hey, Nick, name an African animal.
Elephant.
Elephant. Okay. So what's cool about this is we now have global search. So I can search across my entire account. So if I'm not in the project and I don't remember where the clip is, I can click on this. I can do a global search, and it will tell me where this elephant exists. There are 3 different bins this is in. I choose the bin as the one I want, and it'll take me right there. And now I was able to get to the elephant bin, which happens to be in season 1, episode 3. So global search is a new way to search, and that's available with the little magnifying glass in the upper right, or the quick key is Apple K. And now you can do global search. So This was a lot. We moved really fast today. But I just want to say thank you to Nick and George for joining us from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Someday I hope to be in your storefront, walking in that door, being like, "What are you guys doing here?" I want to be that guy.
Oh yeah,
Just
good one.
wander in.
Call back.
We're so thankful for you as early testers and letting us do this. In fact, for those of you still watching, we can still see their drive connected. And here I'm still playing files off of their drive here. And it's just so cool to see that happening remotely. And for the rest of you, we hope to see you at NAB in 2 weeks. You should come visit us. We'd love to meet you in person and show you this. Otherwise, you can sign up for the product today. People, Aaron asked you, do you need to share? Do the people you share with need to have a license to comment? No, they can comment. The account is free. And if they're just commenting and reviewing, that's included. They just need to sign up, Aaron, and then they'd be fine. But we love collaborators. And so we want people to be able to collaborate. So I wanted to get that answer to you. But we want to see you all at the NAB show in a couple of weeks. We want you to sign up for Strata, try it out, give us the feedback. We're excited to have you. Nick and George, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We're so happy that you're a great, great friend, not just a customer. We appreciate you pushing the boundaries. And we look forward to continuing the collaboration. Thanks for pushing us to make product better. We love it. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, happy to do it. See ya.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.